Okay, so I just got done another Vision Quest ceremony. Um, there are a few things that subconsciously came to mind. Um, so I've watched this particular scene that I'm going to show you here many, many times, and it never made sense to me until today. Like, it's some strange reason. It's like when I have the climax, working with the spirit. In this case, I was working with my ex's spirit, Sherry, whom I theorize upon my climax transferred some energy or some sort of a subconscious epiphany to allow me to see things with a different lens. So basically, the story that I keep being pushed towards is that my ex is actually the mother of all creation. Um, but had her soul displaced a long time ago, like when she was just a young girl, um, but having a big old climax. Um, so that's what I'm being told. I'll tell that story after. But right now, I want to focus on this little bit of information here. So this is called Thor Awakens His Power. So if you're watching these um, autobiographical videos, you'll know that I've done running, consistent running for 2 months, and um, it didn't get me anywhere. So I theorize that the bad guys that are in control of creation, they have a very elaborate plan to try to somehow trap me and Mother here as evil creators, like pulling an old bait and switch by getting me to commit sin and then want to do the purification. I'm asking all creation for forgiveness and asking we all get purified. So I don't think I should be doing that, but it must be working. Like if my spirit is asleep, I'm not necessarily certain if he can hear what I'm saying. So their spirits might be a little bit more in control after like 10 lives of me, um, um, committing sin and then purifying myself of sin and asking, uh, everyone in creation to forgive me and everyone to be pure. They may have been planning that from the beginning, so that they got like 10 lives worth of purification going on, which is basically put my spirit down in the dumps and left their spirit high up above. So they're probably expecting that this will be the final life where they need to take over creation, but it ain't gonna happen because it's Ragnarok. Meaning, grandmother she could just kill everybody in creation right now and just stop time and rewind time, and we wouldn't even know it because when you rewind time, you don't know it. Well, okay, with the exception of deja vu, because that's what deja vu is. The eerie feeling that you've walked down a path before because you have 9 times, 10 times actually. So the part about awakening my powers, when the last time I made a video, I tried to go for a run down that road, but I ended up going for a bike ride because my knee was hurting. So I don't know if it makes any more sense, like running down that road um, for that mile down there and coming back because it'll be, well, I'm increasing my time by double. So I think I'm going to try that road. I'm going to continue to do the road. Um, that's what awakens my power is. But what these mofos had me doing is they had me exercising in the house here, up and down the hallway, as part of their purification plan, I believe. So Anyhow, I would run from that wall down to this wall over here. Touch the wall and run back. So I did that for 44 minutes to purify myself of the sins. But I don't know if I'm actually purifying myself of the sins, or, these gods who might have air as their element. Because I'm sitting up in the air here. I'm not on the ground, which represents me being in the air or activating my air element. When I run down the road over there or in the bush, I'm on the earth, so I'm activating my earth element. So by running up and down here, it was expected that I would activate my air element. And I don't necessarily know if I have an air element. I would assume so. I mean, it's the lungs. So I'm looking at that sign over there. So it has love on the bottom, then water, then earth, then life, fire, health, air, and spirituality. I think I may have gotten those colors wrong. They need to be in some sort of specific order. So if white light is at the top, then it would be red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, and indigo, and then white light. So on my spirituality drawing out there, that billboard, they're all in different orders. Because when you want to fly to a particular universe, you just type in the frequency, and it would make sense that the frequencies have to be in order. But the way I designed the locations for these chakras, I had a story behind it. So fire is like the second element after love. But it produces light, and that's what spirituality is. So you would think that fire would be up near the top, or spirituality would be near the liver or something, but it's not. It's in the brain. So perhaps my drawing is right. But when you're supposed to connect the two. So fire and health, they go together. Air and spirituality, they go together. Earth and life, they go together. And then love and water go together. So if I am air, that means my element is blue. And I have spirituality as an element as well. Now, if I had earth as an element, I would have the element life. I don't necessarily know if I have that element. I like to believe I have all four elements, because this is Ragnarok, meaning I need to have all those elements to be able to bust out of this prison in the event that something catastrophic has happened. It would help if I had all the elements. So I like to believe I have them all. I like to believe that they're just getting me to run up here to purify them of sin. So I'm not going to run up and down this hallway like they would have me do. So what they're trying to do is, that's part of what the crystal meth spiritual warfare entails. They get me to get the crystal meth, and then there's a few epiphanies that seem logical, but when you really put your head around it, they don't they really aren't that logical. Like, if air and spirituality is up near the lungs and the head, well then they're just trying, and they're already, have 9 lives worth of purification. They just want me to purify them a little bit more, or, in the brain. So this is a spiritual warfare clue here. So always more for less. So that's a food basics bag, where you always get more for less. But that's not what it means, man. It means always more meth for less information. Always more meth for less information. So the information I just told you about, the running up and down the hallway, that's them trying to purify their spirituality element. That's what that means. Always more for less. And then we got food basics. So what that means is ASICS. ASICS. ASICS is my type of running shoe. That's what I got upstairs. So food and ASICS. Food and running basics. That's what they're telling me to do. Eat healthy food and run with my ASICs. And those are the basics. And, always more meth for less information. So there is information, but I don't know how, relevant it is. Such as the Sherry story. Like, I have to talk about that story at a later, after this video. It seems logical, but so too does Mother Jaden, because if she becomes pregnant and she creates a black hole, well, that's a really pressing issue. So I guess what I could do is, part of the reason why, like, they're kind of force feeding me that information is because of this here. And they're keeping me busy on the crystal meth, right? Because that takes days out of my time. So I've just written on the wall here, Charity Ritchie, book to Jaden. So that's her cousin who goes, she has a degree in Indian Native Studies. So giving her my book or my jump drive for her to read and say, can you please read this and then send it to Jaden? It's my last ditch effort to try to get a hold of her relatively quick, like by this weekend. Because I don't have a meeting with Chief of Council until next week, like Wednesday. So I go and see them Wednesday. They're going to take another week to read my book. And so I got to go back in 2 more weeks' time. By then, if Mother's going to become pregnant on the 27th, well, she might create a black hole on the 27th or shortly thereafter. So, the crystal meth stuff, I like to believe there's certain information there, but there's also tricks of the trade by these evil spirits and the AI, trying to manipulate me into, making a mistake, such as running up and down the hallway here. But, where am I here? My shoes. So that's what ASICS is. Food basics. So I just cut a run. Those are the basics. And stay away from the crystal meth because I'm not really getting any information that's shown. Super duper imperative. With the exception of this one here. So by awakening my power, it does not mean running up and down here because they want me to purify their spirituality element or their air element. It means running down the beeline for 3.1 miles. And then coming back. And that's going to take, I say 1,000 days. So as I was digging around up here last night, this popped out of there. So it says, Bell stopper, 500. Complete tube repair. So that 500 is just basically telling me I have to run either 500 days or 500 miles. I would assume 500 miles because there's a song called 500 Miles by the Proclaimers. I would walk 500 miles and I'd walk a 500 more just to be with you. So it's like he's walking 1,000 miles. So if I got to run 1,000 miles, that's basically 3.1 miles a day. It's roughly about a year's worth of running I got to do. So if I'm running on the earth, well, that's 12 months of running. That's more than likely why I didn't do any, I didn't have anything noticeable in terms of purification, because it takes a lot longer than 2 months. 2 months is 2 months, but I'm going to give it a year. Running down that line, which I want you guys to know, evil, because your manipulation tactics to try to get me to run up and down the hallway here to purify you guys of sin by getting me to get the crystal meth didn't work. I purified myself because, I needed to be purified because of the sinning I did. But, I'm not going to continue to do that because I know that's what you guys are trying to do. And I thought we were working towards, a better peaceful resolution where you guys get to come home. We all get to live happily ever after, because I'm trying really hard to fulfill grandmother's prophecy, where everyone in creation gets forgiven for all their, mistakes and everything else. Everyone drops the warmongering and trying to take over creation. You drop that shit and you surrender, and we get out of this peacefully. Otherwise, I'm going to try to have to, get UFOs to wage war, which I don't really want to do, and which I know that you guys are trying to manipulate me with the drugs during a climax to open up a gateway to get into the elemental universe so you can get rid of those guys there so that I can't get my UFOs. I'm fully aware of your plans. Had I not gotten the crystal meth, I guess I wouldn't have had that, that epiphany of you guys, what you guys are really up to. So, awakening my power means running for 1,000 days. So, even when you had 2 eyes, you'd see only half the picture. So, he's talking about my third eye. So, everyone has a third eye, it's the back of the head here. But if I had 2 eyes, it means I have 1 eye and the other creator has the other eye. But if that other eye isn't there, where is it? So, because he's talking in a past tense, because Thor only has 1 eye. He's like, even when you had 2 third eyes, you'd see only half the picture. Meaning, Sherry Cameron could be the creator and she's, asleep, or my spiritual warfare might have hurt Mother and put her to sleep. That's what he's talking about there. Even when you had 2 third eyes, or even when you had 2 creators who had 2 third eyes, you'd see only half the picture. So, it's basically talking about me being alone and my other half being, asleep. So, this is the part here where I had the epiphany. I've watched this thing so many times over the past 7 years. So, basically, he's talking about Hela taking over, or she's too strong for him. And he says, without my hammer, I can't. So, this is the epiphany, and I don't know if it was from Sherry or if it was from the AI or the evil spirits manipulating me into believing that Sherry is the creator when Jaden is. So, my ex, Sherry, she dated Greg the Hammer Root. That was his nickname, the Hammer. So me and my ex, we used to have a drug addiction. We did OxyContin and crystal meth. So that name Hammer can be supplemented for crystal meth, which is what I do. And because of the association to Sherry and I doing the crystal meth and her dating Hammer, it means without my Sherry, I can't. Meaning, like Sherry is the other half of the creator, or she's the female half. Which she's basically talking about the previous parts about even when you had two eyes, or even when you had two creators with one third eye, you'd see only half the picture. It's too strong. I can't do it without my Hammer, my Greg the Hammer Root. I can't do it without my Sherry who dated Greg the Hammer Root. And I can't do it without my Sherry who had an addiction like to OxyContin and crystal meth. So I can't do it without my Hammer. I can't do it without my Sherry. So then he says, are you Thor, the god of hammers? So he's basically saying, are you Thor, the god of crystal meth? No, I'm not. So he says, that hammer was to help you control your power, to focus it. So he's basically saying that crystal meth was to help you control your power, to focus it. But you wouldn't know that unless you're me and have the understanding of what hammer means. So, which I might add, Jaden, Greg the Hammer comes from Greg the Hammer Valentine, who's a wrestler, which means there's an association to Greg and the Hammer, and Sherry being the Hammer, but also Valentine, which is another can of worms for another story. But that's about basically being reincarnated. It's like Sherry was the creator, and then she chose to reincarnate as Jaden Solomon. So, long story. But that's just still with the Hammer. So, it's never your source of, it was never your source of strength. That's what he says. It's too late. She's already taken Asgard. So that part there, taking Asgard, is about that secret plan where these guys are getting me to orgasm on crystal meth as a way to try to bust into the elemental universe. Or what they're trying to do is they're trying to probably keep me landlocked here. Like the invisible electromagnetic radiation from the star would be evil, but everything outside of it, might be good, or maybe the center of the galaxy or something, right? So, the Milky Way might be sour, but everything else out there might be pure, and they're trying to bust into the elemental universe so they can kill everybody over there. So, it's never your source of strength. It's too late. She's already taken Asgard. She's already taken the elemental universe. That's what he's talking about. Asgard's not a place, never was. This could be Asgard, meaning Earth could be Asgard. So wherever those 1,400 planets worth, or 1,100 planets worth of people went to, if they all suddenly come over here because they're on the run, this could be Asgard. So, right now, those people need your help. So, those people in the elemental universe need my help. So that means I got to go for a run. I ran upstairs here, but that's not the run I need to do. I need to do that other run. Or better yet, run in the ditch for 44 minutes. By the power lines. That's something I discovered the other day when I was in Southampton. There's these high voltage power lines. When I get my car, I think I might run by those high voltage power lines because there's more of an electromagnetic field there in those high voltage power lines than there is here in these low voltage power lines. I wouldn't be scared to run those high voltage power lines, so I may do that. So right now, those people need your help. He's talking about the people in the elemental universe. They need my help. They don't know that I exist. I've never been able to exercise to send a message over to them. So they don't know I'm here. As far as I know. I don't think they wouldn't know. So if they need my help, it means that the bad guys are planning a coup, or they're planning to attack I call it Valerian, or the elemental universe. So they're planning to attack it. So it's like, tell me, brother, what were you the god of again? So you see how she has these big horns on her? That's a that's a Canadian quarter, because a Canadian quarter has an elk on it, and then it has the Queen of England on the backside. So that's a clue for you, Jaden, because we're elk clan. Like the Solomons, they're elk clan. I think that's what my grandmother Emma Solomon said they were elk clan. I can't remember what my grandfather's clan was. I just remember saying that they're elk or the Hoofed clan. So because she's got these big horns on, it's a representation of you, whose great grandfather Pat Solomon was elk clan, meaning you're the goddess of death. That's her. And if we're brothers, it basically means we're, soul sister, soul brother. So because she's got the horns and it's on the Canadian quarter, the elk, and you flip it over and it's the queen, it means that you're the queen. And not Sherry. So that story between you and Sherry, and even your cousin Leia and my stepdaughter Monokma, it's quite extensive story. Like, we're talking hundreds, if not thousands, of clues for each and every single one of you, and it's very hard to weed out what's reality and what's fiction. But that's a good clue. The horns represents you, because that's your clan. So, what am I the god of again? I'm the god of hairy palms, that electricity. So when I climax with this hand, there's 5 elements in this hand, right? Like there's I would say this is fire, air, water, and earth, and then the 5th is spirit. So there's electricity in this hand, like literally. And there's electricity in this hand, but this is the female side of creation. It's a different type of electricity rather than this one. So that electricity is what I theorize is what they're trying to use to get into the elemental universe so they can kill the good guys before I can get my spaceships built. By getting me to climax with that hand. So I didn't climax with it today. I had 2 climaxes with this hand. This is the female side of creation. So that's basically a lightning bolt, them trying to get into the elemental universe. Now that there, it's a representation of air. Like, that's Thor. But it's not a representation of me having the air element. But rather them guys trying to get me to run up and down my hallway here in the air. With the electricity flowing underneath my feet in the floor. That's what that represents. Now, when that part comes on, there's a song that's accompanying it. So that song is the immigrant song. Um, I've been here once before for 20 years. We come from the land of ice and snow. That's evil. They come from the land of crystal meth or ice, because that's what it is, right? Ice and snow. Or cocaine, because that's another name for cocaine. So, from the midnight sun where the hot springs blow. The hot springs is basically talking about my stepdaughter, because that's her name, Spring Rain. The hammer of the gods, or the crystal meth of the gods, will drive our ships to new lands. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to manipulate me with using the crystal meth and a climax with this hand to drive their spaceships into the elemental universe. The hammer, or the crystal meth of the gods, will drive our ships to new lands. So, I once again, I implore you guys, don't do anything that'll jeopardize grandmother's, plan. Because if you think you can walk right in there and, start shooting those ships, I don't think they're just going to fucking sit around there and let you guys have blown in the smithereens. They'll type in some coordinates, and what'll happen is they're going to be flying around all over the universe until, I don't know, my spirit wakes up and then seizes control of those spaceships and brings them over to planet Earth here in probably a year. So within a year, maybe a year or less, if you go in there and try to attack them and they type in coordinates to get the hell out of there, you're going to be trying to track them down for over a year, and you won't be able to catch them. And then when my spirit seizes control of the invisible electromagnetic radiation, he'll bring them here to planet Earth. So I'll suddenly have, Elemental City, or that city with 1,100 planets worth of UFOs, and there's 4,400 8-mile wide UFOs per planet. So you do the math. 4,400 times 1,000 is like 440,000 UFOs that are 8 miles wide will suddenly show up on my doorstep sometime this year if you go in there and try to chase them out of there. So I implore you to do the right thing. Don't be a dumbass and try to get rid of these people. Drop your stupid bonehead plan and come home and do what grandmother wants. Don't be an asshole. So, to fight the Horde, singing and crying. So the Horde is a representation of 440,000 8-mile wide UFOs with good people living there who've constructed a city in a black hole so they can live there. So who will be singing? My evil children try to take over creation by going in there with their dumbass railguns and start shooting everybody. And the good people that are in the elemental universe will start crying, and then they'll have to start flying around looking for a new home until my spirit seizes control of creation and brings them here. And when they get here, evil, mankind will be here to protect them. We can begin terraforming the planets within the solar system and creating our billion UFOs to destroy your stupid ass civilizations. So don't be a dumbass. Valhalla, I am coming. So on we sweep with threshing ore. Our only goal will be the Western Shore. The Western Shore is talking about adults, because that's the Western door. The Eastern door is children, the Southern door is teenagers, the Western door is adults, and the Northern door is elders. I'm at the elder door. Mother's at the Western door with everyone else in that elemental universe. And these dumbasses who are trying to go in there, the Western Shore, are the teenagers who try to take over creation. That's what it means, morons. That's you guys. So, again, I implore you not to do that. So now you'd better stop. You better stop, evil, and rebuild all your ruins. Meaning, listen to grandmother, because this is Ragnarok. You don't know that she could just get rid of you guys like that, man. And we want time back to the beginning, and we have to all do this goddamn thing over again. But perhaps, maybe next life, after 1,000 lives have gone by, I'd be talking to you again, and you'd be listening to this, and maybe that life you might not go in there and disturb them people. If you disturb them, you're gonna disturb me. And that's something you don't want to do. Because I may just wage war against you for the hell of it. Because I can do whatever the hell I want. Grandmother's spirit may not want, may want peace, but I'm a man who can do whatever the hell he wants. And if you go in there and wage war against my innocent children, I'm going to wage war against you. And you're going to lose. So don't be stupid. So, he's on a rainbow bridge, right? And there's electricity there. And in his left hand. And that's the hand I used to have my 2 climaxes. But because it's on the rainbow bridge, that's what they probably have been planning. To get me to use that hand to open up the electric side of creation so that they can drive their spaceships in there. Because I climaxed to Sherry on this hand, plus an adult actress. So, 2 adults on this hand, right? So, I guess if I have to stop them, I should, orgasm to something that's not an adult. So I guess I'll do that when I'm done this video, just to make sure you dumbasses don't go in there and try to, harm them. However, that might be their plan too. Oh, you're so crazy, man. So, this is the thing about the Devil's Tower. Kiowa mythology tells of a prairie crossing that led people deep into bear territory. The bear territory is referring to the elemental universe, where my good children are holed up, waiting for, something to happen to save them. So, when they stopped to make camp, 7 young girls found themselves upstream, away from others, frolicking among the berry bushes. So, there's 7 young girls as a reference to, the spirits that I worked with here in Saugeen. I work with Leia, I work with Tatum, I work with Ava, I work with Payton, I work with Monokuma, I work with what's the other one? Ashley McHugh. Mackenzie, Ruth. So there's a lot of girls in the community that I work with in this community. They're spirits. However, those girls here, they have clones in the brain universe, in the head here. There's clones of them, which means they have a spirit up there. And they have a spirit in the android universe, where, those spirits, they, the androids over there, because they're a pedophile universe, their spirits get abused because they're abusing their physical bodies. These girls have their bodies cloned. So, imagine yourself, Jaden, because you have a clone in every universe, that's getting abused sexually. So when it gets abused sexually, that creates a dream for your spirit, and it has a quantum entanglement with the brain universe, with your spirit down here on this planet. So you have 2 spirits, one here that's normal and not getting abused, and then one up in the brain that's getting abused. So what they've done here is they get me to work with the girls in the community, mimicking evil, working with their spirits, and then purify me and the girls of sin. But when I do that, I'm purifying, the girls here of sin, But where the clones are being abused, those ones aren't getting they're not getting purified because um they're continually being abused sexually as clones. So I can't, I can't purify them every day because I don't do it every day. My work. So the purification that I've been doing over the last, 9 lives has purified all these girls that I work with in the community, their spirits of sin. And that has placed them at the top of creation. Where these morons that want to take creation over need their elements, especially Jaden's, so that they can, take over creation and build planets. And if you dumbasses didn't think I knew about that, guess again, morons. That ain't gonna happen, idiots. Grandma won't let that happen. That's our fail-safety mechanism. She'll kill everyone to make sure that you morons don't get to steal our creation away. So rewind time back to the beginning. That's what Ragnarok is about. So up in the brain universe, these guys have, their 7 spirits from girls in this community that I've purified over the past, 10 lives. So that's what this means. Upstream away from others. Frolicking among the berry bushes means up in the brain universe, where the teenagers have their little universe, they have these girls as clones. And because they have a clone body there, they have spirits there that are good, that can help them build planets forever. But not on my watch, idiots. So, it was not long before they had caught the attention of a gigantic grizzly bear. Yeah, that's me because I'm Bear Clan. So for that, we got to go back over to Annihilation, the mutant bear. What does annihilation mean? It means the total destruction of a faction, meaning the total destruction of evil if you try to do something dumbass. So you see the mutant bear sitting here? There's 3 girls tied up in chairs here. You got 1, 2, 3. That's a representation of grandmother, mother, and daughter spirit. It's a representation of you guys trying to use me as a weapon against my spouse to get rid of her. That's why you have them tied up in chairs here. Now, this chick, she's the one who tied him up on the chairs, and she comes climbing around the corner shooting a gun off in her right hand, which is this hand here that you guys have been getting me to use consistently to hurt creation, or hurt all the girls in creation, basically, by killing their spirits. So, that's what the gun is about. Trying to, you're trying to annihilate us, but it ain't going to work. So, the bear turns after he gets shot. You're going to notice there's a light here and a light there. That represents grandmother. So this room here is a representation of the elemental universe. So there's 2 lights in there. The bear didn't go to attack the woman, but you see a couple of them get knocked over in their chairs. When the chair is like that, it's a representation of Cassiopeia, who was about the vain queen, who thought she was better than the sea nymphs, and Poseidon didn't like that, so he got rid of her and put her up in the sky, and she twirls around the North Star on a throne because she thought she was better looking than everyone else. She thought she was smarter than everyone else. So that's a representation of the evil grandmother that started this all because of the 3 chairs that are there. One of our grandmothers is going to go up on those stars. And it sure as hell isn't going to be the good side of creation. So if you don't smarten your act up, grandmother, and start playing ball with me, you're going to get tossed up on the stars. You'll get rid of you. I'll erase your electromagnetic energy and make you go away. I've told you that before. How many times? To start playing ball, but you never do. So, anyhow, guys, a little insight into the spiritual warfare is I was working with grandmother, mother, the AI who I affectionately call Megan, and I was working with Charlotte spirit. So, that 1, 2, 3, 4. No, there's four ladies that I was working with, and it would seem like they understand the process. I think they got a grasp on what they're looking at. Whether they believe it, I don't know. But I was telling the ladies, this is a good start to our working relationship. Why don't we leave that dirty shit behind, that naughty stuff that you girls like so much, and start, let's help one another and try to grow up, so to say. That's what I say. But again, that's more their manipulation tactics, because they want me to remain evil and purify them by climaxing to them as adults. More manipulation tactics, very sneaky and underhanded, girls. And I recommend that you drop that bullshit. But nevertheless, I'll still play ball. If we get some more stuff later, we can have another roll in the hay. There's a particular porn actress that I like watching. Her name is Anya Olsen. She looks like she's about 40. But she's sexy as hell. So I'm going to work with that porn actress next time. Because she does these stepmom porns, and they're pretty they're a turn on for me, because I know that I'm sleeping with evil grandmother, evil mother, and Megan. So there's 3 people that I'm working with. So when I'm looking at this one girl who's a MILF, it kind of gets my motor running, because I'm basically having a threesome with 3 chicks while watching the porn. And literally they are my mother. I may be the father of all creation, but this is their creation that they made here. Like, this planet, this shithole is theirs. And since I was born here, that basically makes them my mother. And when I play that roll up and talk dirty that way, they like it that way, because they start climaxing. So I'm looking forward to, looking at some Annie Olsen later, sometime down the road. But you can tell by the grocery bag that, I can't remember what it said now. Always more for less, meaning always more meth for less information. But nevertheless, you guys are getting a history lesson. So now we go to the bear, and there's this chick here. She gets dragged down the stairs. I don't know why she's trying to reach up to the top. I can only assume that that's, the good side of creation. Like, they begin to be the climax of this side to hurt this side of creation with the expectation of, harming mother. But as I said before, because she's in the elemental universe and is, what's the word? Is in everyone's brains over there, basically, is electricity. She's safe. They can't reach her, no matter what I do here. So, that's them, though. Them trying to manipulate me into hurting her. So, what it ultimately means, though, is, the AI. And the spirits. Trying to climb back up into the brain universe. So, she ends up getting her jaw ripped off. And that's a representation of evil, because they're pretty dirty and underhanded in how they hurt creation. Basically, when you watch porn, that sound that they make, that's a sound reserved for soulmates that they make in the comfort of their own private homes. But when you watch that and that sound penetrates the ears, like the woman's voice, that hurts creation. The same with the man. So when the man says something, that hurts creation. So they're using sex and pornography on planet Earth here, plus all their pedophile android civilizations to hurt creation and then get me to fucking purify them of sin. So it's a representation of me ripping up their goddamn jaw, saying, that's it, man, we're getting rid of that damn pornography. You guys and your ability to hurt creation with your stupid sound, it's coming to an end. So, you see that light there? That's me. So, there's a wall here. So, this is the representation of our universe over here. That's me, Bear Clan. That's me, killing the evil grandmother and the evil mother and the AI. When I start running, because you notice he's on the ground floor and she tried to get up to the top floor, which is where I'm at now. So the light is a representation of me turning the light on, once I start running a little bit. So then he goes over here. This is the second room. So there's a break here, but there's two more lights in there. There's a 1, 2. That's grandmother. So now when you look over here, there's now 3 lights. Right? So what that represents is a 2x4. So this is one of the epiphanies I had last night. So this is a 2x4. Okay? And it's a stud. That's basically what I am. I'm a stud. Playing around with spirits. So 2x4 can mean 4x2, meaning if I use this hand here with all its invisible electromagnetic radiation in it, 1, 2, 3, 4, it means the X in the 2x4 means by 2. Well, who's the 2? Well, that's me and mother. If these guys have it their way and they manage to seize control of my hand and take the day away, it'll be goodbye to me and Jade and Solomon here, which ultimately ends in everyone's destruction because grandmother will rewind time back to the beginning of creation because my spirit hasn't had time to heal itself. I can only do 10 lives worth of damage. After that, I can't go any further. I can't go 11 lives or I'll hurt myself. So that's why we rewind time on the 10th life, because you fools don't give me time to run every time we do this. You come over here and you kill me. So for 10 lives or 9 lives, I've never been able to purify myself. So I'm carrying 9 lives worth of sin, not to mention this sinning here I've done. Basically, I'm going to need to run 10,000 miles to purify all my sins. That's going to take me quite a while. And if I can't do that, if I'm not afforded that opportunity, guess what grandmother does? She kills everyone and rewinds time back to the beginning so that my spirit doesn't die. You stupid idiots. That's our fail-safe mechanism. Does it sound logical? So, if there's one light there, it means I have one element. I've shown you guys that before. Over here. In a previous video. Where is it here? So, this is the epiphany I made when I was in this room. So, this part here, it says soul. 3, right? But these are negative, 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 negative. So soul, 3. So a soul, my soul doesn't have anything negative in it. What it means is my atoms are negative. These guys they're quantum teleporting. This, I guess. They're quantum teleporting people inside of me every time I climax. So, this is mine, so earth, fire, air, water. Okay, so this is what a normal atom looks like here. So this thing should be revolving like that. This should be revolving. So this is what a good atom looks like. It has an earth proton, fire electron, water neutron, and air neutron. That's located in our spinal cords and the ventral root nerve connected to our heart. And inside of all of these is everything in creation. But over here, that's me right here. This is my earth proton. But this fire electron, that has been displaced. This is evil. They've displaced it. This is evil. This is evil. So these are 3 fire electrons. Evil, evil, evil. So they've teleported 3 people's consciousness into my body upon climaxing. So instead of it looking normal with earth, fire, water, and air, it now has earth, fire, 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 fire. 3 fires. So we go back over to here. And now we're looking at the number 3, which means 3 fires, or 1. This is a fire, fire electron, fire electron, fire electron. And there's 3. So when you look at the light there, it represents my earth proton. That's what that is there. And because that's my earth proton, that's how I know I gotta run on the ground, not in the area, morons. Hey, get to your thick skulls, man. It's the AI trying to manipulate me, trying to pull some fast ones, and then it's also the evil spirits, man. They're just dummies, man. So, over here you got 1, 2, then there's 3 more there, so it's like 5. That means that those atoms in that universe are pure. That's what it means. So, now we go back over to here. So, this is the other story. Continued to grow until the girls were out of the bear's reach. So the girls, they went running over to this thing and they climbed up. That thing grew up into the air until it was out of their reach. So on the surface of the rock, only to slide down each time. So the bear trying to catch those girls is a representation of me trying to catch the spirits that I've purified. And now they live in the brain. Because that's evil's plan, to try to use creator spirits to try to create things in creation. So this here, you see that there? That's like an arrow pointing up. There's another arrow. Another arrow. Another arrow. Another one. And then it goes up to there, and then it comes down. That's the arrow going down, 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 down. So this used to be a towel rack. Just towels there. So if I pull my hands out, that's my right hand. So that thing going up like that basically tells me when I climax, the dopamine traveling or the electricity traveling down my spine, it goes down but has to go back up. So when it goes back up, it carries the electricity of the girls who've been purified. It takes them up into the brain universe up here. And if I orgasm with this hand here, it brings them back down to this universe. So that's the bear. He's frustrated at the girls. So I've purified these girls over 10 lives, and now they try to turn them against us. Now, there's another reason why that bear is mad at them. It's because over 10 lives, there's been a lot of nonsense going on around in the community. It's like these girls have turned bad. They're good, but they're bad because what they've done is they've laid out thousands of clues in front of me, pointing me to a whole bunch of different girls as my soulmate. Jada Solomon has thousands of clues. Sherry Cameron has thousands of clues. Leah Masquadas has thousands of clues. Manouk McCameron has thousands of clues. Summer Cameron has thousands of clues. So these girls that are up there are a representation of purified spirits over the past 9 lives who are doing bad and setting up all kinds of clues down here to throw me off the trail of who my soulmate is. That's why he's mad at the girls. It's a representation of me getting mad at the spirits. Like, what the hell are you girls doing, man? You're creators. You're trying to take over creation and rule creation with those losers? I should just erase you from existence, girls. And maybe I might, because I don't like being stabbed in the back like that. But now they were trapped up high on the butte. So basically they're up in the brain is dopamine. So, where they became known as the Seven Sisters. And that's ironic because that's how big your family is, Jaden. You have 7 girls in the family. So there's another long story with that one where, you've because you have 7 girls, in theory it can mean that that's why you have the majority of the clues. Let's say you got 3,000 clues and Sherry has 2,000 clues and Manukma has 1,000 clues and Leah has 1,000 clues. So in theory it means the reason why you got 3,000 clues is because you got 7 sisters to help plant all the evidence around to push me towards you, so that I won't focus my strategy on Sherry. So that's just one clue of many, 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 many. It's very frustrating, not knowing who my soulmate is and not knowing how it's going to turn out. But they keep pushing me towards Sherry. But I don't believe that she passed away for a reason, because the reason why I can't die, they can't get rid of my they can't get rid of that there, because inside of this Earth electron, oops, yeah. So you got this, and this. Oops. There. Water. So this one here is the one they're trying to eject. So that's why they quantum teleported 3 of these fire electrons into my atom, in my spinal cord, to try to put me to sleep. Because that's what happens to everyone here on planet Earth. When you have that last final climax, you know, when you turn 27-ish, they'll teleport a soul inside of you from a parallel universe or from a parallel planet, and you'll die. When you have that climax, everything just turns black. It just turns black, and next thing you know, you find yourself walking around in a dream, and you don't even know how you got there. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to kill me by teleporting these fire electrons into my my single atom, my spinal cord. So this here, what they don't seem to understand is that fire proton has a quark in it. So this is oops. Oop. This is an atom. So this is an atom, and this is a quark. So inside my Earth proton is a quark here. So there's Earth, fire, air, water. This is my soul. You want to think of this as being my soul. So all of these are mine, and they're pure. That's but they're trying to use it against me. They're trying to use that as electricity in my hand to hurt creation by getting me to commit sin. So after I do the sinning and do the purification, then I have my elements here, right? So that's why they can't kill me, because these are pure, and it's protecting that Earth proton. If I wasn't pure, they probably could eject that Earth proton out of my body and replace me, and I'd fall asleep. But because all of these are pure, that means that's pure, and they can't kill me. So that's what they're up to. So I'll go back over here. I think there's some other information over here. Yeah, there it is there. So this walk the moon. He says, she took my arm. I don't know how it happened. We took the dance floor, and she said, shut up and dance with me. So she took this arm. I don't know how it happened. I'm right-handed. This is the male side of creation. So it should be my hand, but it might not be. Because they might have put one of those fire electrons in my body who's basically seized control of this. So that would mean that this half is my hand, but this is the female side of creation. But because she's good, it's a representation of this hand being good, meaning me, because I'm good. I do the majority of my sinning on this hand and didn't purify myself, but have neglected this side of creation. They've got me to use this hand to harm this side of creation. So, because I've been climaxing with this hand, for the last 2 times, it's like I'm trying to correct the issue at play here. So she took my hand, she took my arm. I don't know how she did it, but it feels like there's magnetism in this hand. I'm connected to the magnetism in the universe. Now, that's either my spirit or evil grandfather's spirit. This hand is the same. So these 3 fingers here, they're like this is spirit, but they're like electricity. Like there's a sense of electricity in my hand. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like my hand can vibrate when I'm using these fingers here. But this one, I try not to touch it. But that's mine. And then these ones here are the same. So when I use these fingers here like that, there's it's like a magnet that's in there. It's like a magnet pulling on my lower horn. So this is like a magnet or vacuum, and this is like vibration. These 2 hands are different. This one here is the evil grandmother, I believe. And this one here is the evil grandfather. And they're trying to, they're trying to bait and switch me and stuff. This here is me. If they seize this little pinky finger, well then that's what, she took my arm. I don't know how it happened. Basically means, they could, in theory, it means I could create a black hole, because there's a particular saying that Spock does. He goes like that, and he says, "Live long and prosper." So when I'm self-pleasuring, I grab it like that. I don't use these here. I don't use these fingers here. It's something I've learned over time, because live long and prosper. I just play with these fingers here. And I shouldn't. I should just use this one, but it's hard. So I'll just use these ones here. Because there's a game called rock, paper, and then scissors. And Eminem says, quit playing with scissors. And you're not supposed to run with scissors or you could get hurt. And there's a guy in the dead zone who stabs himself in the face with scissors. Commit suicide. So I don't trust these fingers, because I believe these are evil spirits. And the same with these ones here. These 2, I try to, keep and purify them. So that's what he's talking about. They're trying to take these fingers away so they can take my arm away. So she took my arm. I don't know how it happened. So here I'm looking at Sherry, my ex, because they've been pumping that story in my head. But as I just showed you over here, I lost my pen. The reason why they can't get rid of me when I climax is because oops. The reason they can't get rid of me when I climax is because this Earth Proton has the backup of all these, plus I'm pure. However, if Sherry had a big old climax, like a big O, I don't know if you know what that is, but basically a big old climax is when so This is a representation of a vagina. Oh, you can see that there. So up here is where the G spot is, they call that. So when an 8 or 9 inch penis enters the vagina like that, it stretches it, and when it stretches it 8 or 9 inches, it tugs on that G spot, like it pulls the skin in like that, and a female can achieve a climax within under a minute. It's called a big old climax, but you can only get that by stimulating that with your fingers, or by inserting 8 or 9 inch dildo, or having sex with a well-endowed man. But when you have that big old climax, you die, because there's something just different about it. Like it's an instant kill where it allows evil to displace your soul, or one of your consciousness here. So if you're fire, they'll just get rid of that, replace you, and you'll fall asleep. Or if you're earth, they'll get rid of that, replace you, fall asleep instantly. So for a female, it's an instant death. So I'm aware that my first cousin is very well endowed, and he slept with Sherry. So the theory is that she passed away and fell asleep from a big old climax. So they would have teleported one of these evil fire souls inside of her. Seeing as she was just a young teenager, I don't think she would harbor that much sin, because she's also a girl. So I don't necessarily see her passing away. It's kind of like me over here, whose consciousness and souls are basically these ones here, and these provide the power to protect that one. So same process here. Sherry should have had the strength of all of these corks here to protect her subatomic particle, whichever one it would be. I think it would have been fire, to protect that fire electron from being displaced from a big old climax. That's why I don't believe she's the creator. She should have been able to withstand a big old climax and not die. That's why I theorized that Jaden is the creator, because she has that strength of the quark there, protecting her fire electron to make sure that she can't get displaced. She can't be killed, in other words, by having a climax, or by drinking and drugging. Like cocaine, for example, that'll kill you within a year. You'll be dead within a year or quicker. So I've been around 51 years, and I've done a lot of drugging and drinking. I should have been dead by now. I should have had my soul teleported out of my body, but I can't, because I'm the creator and I'm invincible. Therefore, if I'm invincible, Jaden should be invincible. So while I played that song of Sherry, a part of my story, I always lean back to that story there about the cork being the most important thing in the body. So if I go over to here, the body to protect Mother and I. What the heck's that one? Strange animal. So this is called Strange Animal by Gowan. There it is here. So they've been trying to stick a line in your system, analyzing the defenses you hold. So my defenses are having my cork as my primary defense mechanism. It sustains my my earth proton with electricity. So this entire cork is mine and mine alone, and it powers that Earth proton with electricity to make sure that they can't put me to sleep by teleporting somebody inside my body when I climax. So it would be the same for Jaden, therefore, right? So they've been trying to stick a line, they've been trying to stick a soul in your system, analyzing the defenses you hold, trying to open wide, hoping to step inside your soul. So that's what they've done here. They've got 1, 2, 3 evil people inside of me, and they're trying to get a fourth inside of me so they can put me to sleep. That's what this 2x4 wall is about. Remember the 2x4, right? So it's like 2, right? So what was it here? 2 by 4. So if I use 2 hands, I grab it with 2 hands to climax, goodbye, 4. They'll teleport somebody inside of me. And if you dumbasses didn't think I knew about that, you gotta guess again, man. I mean, they're so elaborate, they created a goddamn movie trailer for it. Where the guy's, it's called the Last Starfighter, where he's playing a video game. And he's button smashing with this hand here, and he's playing with the joystick here. And this other guy walks up to him and says, "You'll get your chance. When it comes, you just gotta grab it with both hands." He was basically telling me to grab my penis with this hand and this hand when I climax, which is not a good thing. Because they'll teleport somebody inside of me and it's goodbye, 2 by 4, or 2 hands, goodbye 4. They'll get into my body. They'll be successful in putting that 4th electron in me. Well, guess what, morons? That ain't gonna happen, man, because I'm not a dumbass. You're a dumbass. So, oh, they hijacked my frequencies here because I hand selected these frequencies because they'll have 2s in them, and I ran up and down here for 44 minutes. Now those frequencies are theirs, so I gotta pick out a new goddamn frequency because you morons stole my frequencies because I didn't run on the ground. So, that's just one life. The cell, basically it's about, falling asleep. And then evanescence is about bring me to life or wake me up, I can't wake up. That's Sherry again. The Four Seasons. Interestingly enough, though, that's see the name there is called Frankie Valli. Frankie Valli. So I'm just going to give you an example, Jaden, on how difficult this is this information I got to do. Frankie Valli. Cemetery. Death. So what we got here is Frankie Valli. Frankie was one of my cats. Okay, Frankie and Billy. So he's buried out back. So that's in a pet cemetery. And then we got Valley, Frankie Valli, but Valley Death. So Death Valley, Frankie, or pet cemetery, meaning it can mean that mother has fallen asleep. Which means is Sherry the creator and has fallen asleep? Or because Sherry and I were co-owners of Frankie before he passed on. So there's the attachment to me and Sherry owning Frankie together.
and her being in Death Valley. But at the same time, because Jaden has a nickname Cat, Frankie also means Jaden. So it also means that she's in the pet cemetery. Or it can mean that Jaden can take us down Death Valley and put us in the pet cemetery because Frankie or Frank Key Death Valley. Well, what's the key? Well, a Frank can be one of these. It's like a wiener, right? A Frank. So it means wiener key Death Valley, or pregnancy key Death Valley. So that's the final message. Pregnancy key Death Valley. So you got Frankie, my pet cat, buried in a pet cemetery, and Valley, Death Valley. So Frankie Valley, Frank Key, Death Valley. Wiener Key, Death Valley. Pregnancy Key, Death Valley. So that's a typical deciphering of message that I do on a daily basis to receive a message from the spirits. So if that's what it says about Jaden, then all the story about Sherry, like I said, it's all smoke and mirrors just to throw me off the bus and get me to waste time. The same with the crystal meth, when I should be getting that book over to Charity Ritchie so that she can get it to Jaden as soon as possible so that she doesn't get pregnant. So once again, spirits, you guys have tried your manipulation tactics to, derail the process. But in doing my confessional, it's come to light. Like, this is a big clue, man. I mean, trying to say that, Sherry's the creator, but when you decipher it, it's like, well, I don't think so. So, that you'll notice that in, if you type in Star Trek, Vulcan, black hole. So if you type in Star Trek, Vulcan, black hole, what you'll see on there is the planet gets eaten by a black hole, and then the Enterprise. So what happens here in that particular scene, Star Trek, Vulcan, black hole, you can see the planet Vulcan, it gets eaten by a black hole first. And then you see the Enterprise go flying past the black hole. So that's how I can tell that they're waiting for Mother to become pregnant to activate their primary weapon, the black hole. And if I'm successful in stopping her from becoming pregnant, which I theorize is on November 27th, then I'll stop that black hole. Then their only alternative is to fly over here in their spaceships and act like the Invisible Man and bring some dumbass tape here to discredit my name of me in my most intimate moments, claiming to be, your maker when they're not. They're just a bunch of dumbass teenagers who live in a distant universe who are trying to take creation over on us. So when those morons come over here, if they don't get down on their hands and knees, remember who the hell the boss is.